What's up? This is CampusLore Live, back here again with my boys Marqise Lee from USC, Jalen Ramsey, Florida State cornerback. Before we get into one of the crazier weekends of college football, let's recap how we did last week in our picks.
Yeah.
Marqise, who was in a tough predicament now, had to go against me and Jalen while we were trying to get back. Marqise goes 3-3 on the weekend. Jalen and I get to 5-1.
Lucky.
Jalen leads at 9-2, Marqise 8-3, and unfortunately, once again, I am pulling up the caboose at 7-4, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get to the weekend, man. Crazy stuff. 1 and 2 go down. Biggest upset of the weekend: Miami losing to Pitt at Pitt. Man, did we see it coming? Like, it is Miami now. We were saying last
They
week
are who we thought they were.
which is what?
Trash. No, I'm just playing, but
They made me believe it.
yeah,
They did. You were all about them last week.
Yeah,
They had me believe it. I mean, just seeing them play, even when I turned on the game throughout the weekend. I mean, this weekend was. That's the first thing I seen was Miami make a play, hit on the tight end, boom, fumble.
Here they go again.
Yeah, there we go again. Miami about to come back, about to make this W.
Yeah.
I started to be a believer. I'm not gonna lie.
I did too. We all did. And their defense still played legit. I mean, they had 3 or 4 turnovers. Like you were talking about earlier, though, that freshman quarterback, or Malik Rozier, just came in and laid an egg. And at some point in time, that was going to happen. But I don't think anybody thought that was about to happen against Pitt.
Yeah, it would have been better if it happened next week.
Yeah,
that's not a good loss at all. Even if they win,
It's over.
yeah, there's no way they can get in the college football playoffs.
No? You think they're done?
They're done.
Even if they beat number 2 Clemson, or number 1 Clemson most likely this week, you think they're out?
That's a bad loss too late in the season, and they're not going to beat Clemson anyway. Clemson's doing some things right now.
Clemson looks solid.
They are
Yeah.
rolling.
Look big time this
Clemson
weekend.
rolling.
Let you know that's my pick.
I mean,
Yeah.
I thought Clemson had their hands full last week against South Carolina, and they shut every doubter up
They beat the brakes off them.
with an exclamation point. I mean, tore them up.
They're not
So,
doing everybody like that. Look.
I mean, as you look, I mean, it's starting to shape out who's going to be top 4 this week. You're probably going to have Oklahoma. You're going to have Clemson at number 1. Oklahoma's probably going to be 2. And then Wisconsin undefeated.
Wisconsin got to be 2, man.
You think Wisconsin's 2?
You're undefeated. You undefeated, man. At the end of the day, like,
You take that goose egg in the loss column.
So you said
You put more weight on that than who you play against.
yeah.
Yeah?
So that means UCF should be at 3 or 1.
No.
So listen, no.
No.
One.
What you mean? Clemson got an L.
I feel you.
Or Wisconsin should be at 1 then.
That's what I'm saying. Wisconsin at 1. UCF
All right, y'all
at
got a
2.
point. Damn, I don't mean all that. But Wisconsin shouldn't be behind Oklahoma. Oklahoma lost to a sorry.
Iowa State.
Yeah, come on now.
Well, we'll see where they come out. Right now, Wisconsin's at 3 in front of Auburn, who had a big-time win. I mean, that win this weekend, did they convince y'all? I mean, are they the best team in college football? Despite their 2 losses in November, 3rd week, are they the best team in college football?
No.
I'd say no.
No.
If they played Clemson today,
I'd say
they would lose.
You think they lose today?
Yeah.
They're
What do you
playing
think?
well, though.
Huh?
They're playing well.
They are. They're playing well at the right time. I mean, their defense is just so nasty. So nasty. I mean, I didn't think many people could shut Alabama down the way they did, but those are some boys in the front 7 in those trenches, and they showed it, man. It's going to be...
They're moving the ball pretty well, too.
I mean, it's going to be tough, though, because Alabama's looked so solid all year. Do you think... So Alabama's now out of the SEC championship.
Alabama out of everything.
You don't think that... You don't think a one-loss team... A one-loss Alabama team gets in the college football playoff?
It all depends on what happens this weekend.
I mean, yeah, it definitely depends, but...
As if we had to go off from right now.
If all the favorites, let's say all the favorites went out in the conference championship, you think Alabama still gets in?
No.
That's rough.
No?
If you don't win your conference, you don't deserve to be in.
Man, that's...
Unless everybody else is trash.
Y'all are ruthless. I mean, I have a hard time believing now that the college football playoff committee is made up of a bunch of human beings and not a computer. You look at going undefeated until the very last game of the season and losing, and then boom, you're out.
It's debatable. I mean, that's why it's debatable. It's rough. Ooh, yeah. The way you put it like that.
Yeah, right? I mean, last game of the season. You look at Auburn.
That's the case.
You
Miami's
look at Auburn.
in too. That's the case Miami's in too. They were undefeated until the last game of the season.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people think that if Miami beats Clemson, they're in.
But the difference about that is they'll be conference champions.
Right. They've got that under their belt.
Bama ain't gonna be no conference champions.
Right. We could sit here and do this all day about different teams and who they lost, but this weekend's going to be wild. I mean, there's a lot at stake, especially with 1 and 2 going down this week. So
that's crazy.
That'll be pretty fun to watch. Who knows, man? Everybody could upset this weekend, and then your Trojans could backdoor into a little college football playoffs.
Everybody upsets put UCF in the playoffs, man.
If everyone upset, there's a chance UCF may be getting in the playoffs.
Yeah, I got to knock out. There ain't no chance them dudes getting in there. No offense. They booming right now, though. But
They might lose to Memphis this week, though.
Yeah.
Well, let's shift gears, go into some big time topics that have gone on since Saturday night, which is coaching vacancies, coaches getting fired, and coaches getting jobs right now. One we know, Dan Mullen goes to Florida, so he's leaving Mississippi State and going to Florida.
How did they come about that offer? Isn't Mississippi State, hadn't they been trashed for the past 3 years?
Compared to what they have been the last 10 years, they were good the last 3 or 4 years. They had Dak Prescott. I mean, they went to 8 straight bowl games.
Dak was very average in college. I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
That's a bold statement. He was pretty dang good.
He was average in college. They didn't go to a SEC championship.
They didn't. He didn't have a ton around him. But Dan Mullen, compared to what Mississippi State football was,
what's their record this year?
I think they've lost 3 games.
So not
They've
bad.
lost 3 games.
How much did they beat Ole Miss by? Because Ole Miss is trash.
They did. That's the bad
they
part.
Didn't beat Ole Miss?
To Ole Miss.
Yo, this is crazy. I can be the head coach for Florida, and they're still gonna lose to Florida State every year.
But this props on the win this weekend, by the way. But let me ask you a question though, Marquise, because they tried to get Chip Kelly. They swung for the fences. They couldn't get him. Chip Kelly is now the new head coach at UCLA. You got recruited by Chip Kelly when he was at Oregon, and you were coming out of high school. You think that's a good fit?
I think it's a good fit. I mean, anywhere for Chip is a good fit, in all honesty. I feel like you're going to have the right staff around him, and he's just going to create what he want to create. As far as recruiting, he's a team coach. I mean, a player's coach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like back in my day when he was recruiting me, I wanted to go to Oregon because I went on a visit because of him and things like that. But the weather out there too bad, so that's no chance I was going out there.
So now you combined a really good players coach and a hell of a coordinator and play caller, and now put him in LA.
You know what I'm saying? So my thing, y'all think about like everybody. I feel like back in my day, not too long ago, but I feel like everybody wanted to go to Oregon.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the jerseys, it's because of just the type of style they playing and just fast tempo. And on top of that, they was winning at the time. They got their butt beat when it came down to the important thing, but they got there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now you think about it like, okay, well, he's bringing that same type winning mentality thing to LA, which we told you was the number one job to try to get.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then on top of that, everybody's going to want to come.
Yeah.
Why not?
That make you nervous about your Trojans, man? Because it really hadn't been a rivalry for a while. I mean, y'all been beating them down for years and years. At least the last decade, y'all been putting a hurting on them. Turned to that rivalry. You worried that's going to change a little bit with Chip getting the job?
No, I would be straight. I beat him when I was at. He was at Oregon, so it didn't make no difference.
But it's interesting trying to think about recruiting a player into LA, because I feel like you got to be able to handle the outside business going on in Oregon. You ain't got much to worry about what they're doing at night in Oregon. But you're in LA. I mean, you think he's the kind of coach that can get people into LA, get the players playing for them, and keep their mind straight, focus on football the way he did at Oregon?
I think it's a possibility. As far as playing for him, I think that's the easy part.
Mm-hmm.
I think the players go out there and play for him just for the type of person he is and his personality. But as far as the atmosphere around just LA, it'll get crazy out there. It can't get crazy, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's just working on being a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, Kiffin wasn't babying us as far as, okay, well, you guys need to stay in and make sure I do this. At the end of the day, just make sure you guys don't get in trouble.
Right.
And I see how I practice the next day and make sure I practice it. At the end of the day, I think that responsibility is on the. You create an atmosphere where that's on the teammate.
Yeah.
You feel me? If Jalen see me out, faded, Keys, you need to hop in the Uber and get to the crib.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Right.
that's just that. I mean,
Right.
but you're going to have a lot of people want to come there, too, because they want to experience that. You know?
Yeah.
So you got the Rams out there. You got Lakers out there. I want to go to a Laker game. I've never been to a Laker game, things like that. Like,
Yeah.
And that's just part of recruiting.
Yep. I think it's a great fit, man. I really do. I think he'd have been good at Florida. I think he may be great at UCLA. Yeah, I do.
Great.
I do. I do.
I'm eager to see it, too, though.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
I'm eager to see it.
Let's go back to Florida for a quick second, though. So they hired Dan Mullen. Why didn't they go after what's the UCF coach's name? Frost?
Scout. They did. Struck out once, struck out twice.
So they went after Frost, and Frost told him no.
Yep.
Oh, because he going to Nebraska, huh?
There's a good chance he's going to Nebraska.
That's
But
good.
right now, he hasn't confirmed anything, but he's saying...
He said that was his dream job, right?
Yeah, he said, I'd be really hurt if Nebraska didn't call me, which
He gone,
makes me
man.
think Nebraska hadn't talked about talking to anybody else. That thing's locked up.
Yeah, it's
They're
locked
just
up.
not saying it because UCF's undefeated. He wants to focus
Yeah, it's locked up.
on their task at hand.
So
you're
Dan
right.
Mullen
So-
was a third.
He's third choice.
Oh, he. All right, I understand. That's
Third choice.
That's a typical Florida move, man.
That's crazy, though.
It's a typical Florida move.
I mean, it's crazy to think that you've got a Florida job and you got a Tennessee job that everybody, they're striking out on getting coaches to come there. I mean, that's not become the biggest job.
Because Florida's not the big dogs in the state no more.
Well, let's travel northwest a little bit, and I got to ask you something about Tallahassee. Because there's a lot of chirping going on that Jimbo's looking hard at Texas A&M
Cut it
now
out,
that
man.
Sumlin's out. Looking hard.
I heard
What do you
something
think about that?
today.
Yeah.
Cut it out, man.
Come on. I mean, I thought
Well,
Florida State would be a dream
this
job.
is,
Why? You talking about going from
Florida State is a
Tallahassee
dream
with
job.
that tradition
I
to go
agree.
to Texas A&M?
Yeah, that's fugazi. But let's talk about this for a second though, because I kind of feel some type of way about this. So college coaches, they can just up and leave their recruits, their players anytime they want.
Yeah.
But the players are punished if they want to go to a better situation, if they want to transfer and go to a better situation.
Yeah.
So kind of off of what we talking about.
No, that's a good
But
point, though.
I feel some type of way about that though. I don't like that. I don't think that's fair for the players, because I mean some players are truly, they come to a program for, whether it's right or wrong, they come for the coach.
Right.
And that coach up and leave, and then if they try to transfer, they got to sit out a year, or they're basically punished.
You're punished.
They're punished for wanting to transfer and go to a better situation.
Right.
I don't think that's right. So me personally, I don't like a lot of the stuff like that. The rules that the NCAA has on that. But back to this.
Actually, let's stay on that because I think that's actually a really good point. I never thought about transfer when I was playing. I don't think any of y'all probably thought about transfer when you were playing. But I get why people transfer, especially at a position like playing quarterback. If you get behind a guy that's playing early, you could be a 5-star recruit and just not have – you just don't play two quarterbacks most likely.
Yeah.
So you can't fault a man for wanting to go play when he's got the ability to start at a Division I school in a big-time conference.
Right.
So I guess what's the solution there? I mean, do you prohibit coaches leaving before they have to announce by a certain time if they're looking for a job, or do you just open the field up to the players to be able to transfer postseason? I think it needs to be postseason, not middle of the season. Transfer and be able to play without having to sit out.
It's gonna have to be one or the other.
It's gonna have to be one or
either
the
the
other.
coach is gonna get penalized like us, or as far as like you got to make a decision early, or you can't make that move, or the player is gonna be allowed. It's probably better if you allow the coaches allow them to make their moves, but the players to move postseason too.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because like just being in that situation, like I never been in that situation, but just a thought of being in a situation where I'm not enjoying there and I gotta sit there and wait out the whole year in order to get out of there is just nerve wracking.
Well, you can transfer mid-year, but you can't play until that following season. I don't think you can't. I think you'd open up a can of worms if a player could leave week 2 and play week 3 somewhere else. That'd be bad.
That'd be insane.
And I think that's a solution because coaching, in the world of coaching, you coach at small schools to get promoted. Like every coach is looking to move up.
Yep.
In college, you got 4 years. I mean, you're pretty much should be committed to those 4 years. You're not really always moving up. So do you think if they open that up, which they are actually looking at that right now, not having to sit out a year, they're looking at that right now in the NCAA. Do you think it makes a difference if they transfer within their conference? Like if a player from Florida State was like, "Hey, week 10, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go to Clemson, and I'm gonna start week 1 at Clemson."
I think they should be able to do that, just because I feel like a coach would.
Why not?
If the money is right at Duke, and the Duke coach has the opportunity to go to Florida State, he gonna go
right
quick. You know what I'm saying? Same with like North Carolina, the basketball schools, the sorry schools in football and the ACC. They had the opportunity to go to like Clemson or Florida State real quick like that. They're gonna take it and they're gonna go. What if the player fits that coach?
Yeah,
I'm gonna want to slide too.
Yep. I may disagree a little bit though. I think if they go within the conference, I think they should sit out a year. I think if you start going between conferences, that gets ugly, man. I think you get all these players trying to pull other players to their team, knowing they could lead. I think that gets ugly.
The coaches can't go in the conference. Yeah, the coaches can't go do that either. Then, if you're gonna leave, go to a different conference, coach.
Yeah.
Which
right now all of them are going to different.
Yeah, all of them doing that.
Yeah. It's very rare you're going to get a lot.
But if it was a situation like the Duke coach had got offered by Florida State,
yeah,
it would be crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, dang.
Yeah.
All right. What if we gotta? All right, Duke coach go to Florida State. What if we gotta play Duke? What if it just so happened that Duke is good this year and we play them in the ACC championship game, like I did my freshman year?
Yeah.
Now we finna dog them because we know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, I like that's a good point though. So you don't think? Let me go back to the original point though that you skirted around pretty quickly. You don't think Jimbo's going to Texas A&M? You trying to change subject
about that, right?
You see how I tried to get off that subject.
Yeah, you had me.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's tough, man.
It is.
That's tough.
It is. I mean, you're talking about beginning of the year. You had Florida that you knew Florida fans weren't happy with McElwain. You had Florida State as a college football playoff contender, national title contender. 12 weeks from now, you potentially have Florida State coach leaving, and then Florida's got a coach already that they're happy about. It's crazy the way this college football season has changed, honestly, from one injury at Florida State. I mean, what all happened from one injury at Florida State? DeAndre Francois there. They're 10-2, 11-1, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's talking about this.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I think.
Because you remember last week we were talking and we said,
yeah, I remember.
He said there's no way.
He said Jimbo's not going anywhere.
I
said there's
no
way.
Once I seen it earlier, I walked up to him like, hey, bro.
I said it. I think I said there's no way because I was thinking if Tennessee offers him, there's no way.
Right.
But Texas A&M though, they in the SEC though.
But still, it's Texas A&M.
Texas, he gonna recruit well in Texas.
Leaving Tallahassee.
I'm still gonna say
I'm
still gonna say he won't leave though.
No.
Unless that money, hey, if that money like $3-4 million more, and Florida State can't match it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Deuces.
We'll see. That surprised the heck out of me if you left though, man. But anyways, well.
Derwin James leaving, I'm leaving too.
Yeah, that's probably what he's thinking. He's leaving, I'm out. DeAndre, I don't know if he's coming back healthy. I'm going to take it when I can and go.
I'm out of here.
Hey, man, speaking of the Noles, at least they got that win over Florida. Now they potentially, this scheduling of Louisiana Monroe is going to play out the way they wanted. They're playing this weekend to get to that 6th win and get to a bowl game.
It's trash, bro. I know.
He's got. If Jimbo
leaves,
he's leaving on that note.
He's
leaving on that note.
That on the pick. I'm going to Louisiana.
You're going to Louisiana
just for that.
That's disrespectful, bro.
Just for you guys even scheduling.
Bro, that's disrespectful.
That's
all right. Well, speaking of picks, let's get to them. Conference championship weekend, baby. We got some good games on the slate.
UCF. I've been on my UCF train.
Yeah.
UCF versus Memphis.
Memphis. You're going Memphis, though.
I'm going Memphis, man.
I've been on UCF.
I've been on that UCF bandwagon, but I'm going Memphis just because UCF beat Memphis. They had a rescheduled game. I think because of the hurricane. They had a rescheduled game, and they beat the brakes off Memphis, like 43-17 type game.
Yep.
It reminds me a lot of the Auburn-Georgia game.
Yep.
Georgia going to beat Auburn this time, and Memphis going to beat UCF this time.
UCF it is.
I'm gonna go UCF too. I think last game. They all know this is the last game of Scott Frost's career. I mean, his coaching career there. To send him out with a conference championship, undefeated season.
That one's not on the list.
I think players are gonna be stacked up though. I'm gonna take UCF.
That's
too.
not on the list though, so that don't count.
Hey,
that don't count against.
This is a show of improv, man.
That don't count against what we talking about. What's on that list counts what we talking about.
All right. Let's start. Where should we start? Let's start with the Big 12. Oklahoma and TCU. Baker Mayfield versus potentially Kenny Hill. I don't know if he's still hurt or not
I'm
right
going
now.
Oklahoma.
Both y'all going to Oklahoma. Best defense in the Big 12. TCU. I'm gonna go with Oklahoma too, though. Baker Mayfield's on a tear right now, and he's got the Heisman locked up, by the way. Yeah, bless you. He's got the Heisman locked up. We're all going OU. All right, Big 10. Undefeated Wisconsin versus Ohio State. This is big, man. Wisconsin wins or in the playoff.
I'm gonna tell you who I want to win.
I want Wisconsin.
I want Wisconsin to
Ohio
win.
State is gonna win that one.
Where's that?
Where do they play? Indy? I think they played in Indy. Inside in a dome. I think.
I want. Man, it's
Don't
hard.
quote me on that, though.
I want Wisconsin to win bad.
Yeah.
I won.
But I don't think they will.
Both of y'all going Ohio State.
I'm gonna go with Wisconsin though.
Well, man. He's playing a game now. He's like playing defense on your record right now.
I'm gonna go.
I'm going Wisconsin. Ohio State did not impress me against Michigan.
But me either.
They're not that good of a team, and Ohio
And
State
Wisconsin beat them,
bit.
right?
Huh?
Wisconsin beat
Yeah,
the brakes off
Wisconsin beat Michigan. Yep.
I'm gonna go.
I'm
with
gonna go
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin as well.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Although Urban Meyer scares me, but they haven't been that impressive.
This is the one to get ahead.
Wisconsin.
This is the one to get ahead.
Nah, that'll tie
All
you
right.
up. That'll tie you up.
Let's go out west. Your boys,
Come on, man.
the Trojans versus Stanford.
You gotta ask me that.
Bryce Love,
You
boy,
ain't
he's
gotta-
nice running the football now. USC's got a defense to stop him.
Listen, I don't even care. Don't matter.
Trojans. Who are you going with?
Go ahead and go with Stanford. I know you want to, little man.
Dang. I'm gonna go with SC though.
Ooh,
Perfect.
keep going with
This is my
Stanford.
time to get back in the win column. I like Bryce Love, man.
That'll be my guess.
He's one of the best running backs in the country. I'm going Stanford. I'm going Stanford. I hope I'm wrong. I hope your boys win, but at the same time, I like Bryce Love.
And where is that at?
Where do they play the Pac-12 championship?
Ooh.
Come on, man. You played. Where do they play?
The Collie?
What's
They
Rose
play
Bowl?
in the They play in
The
the
Rose Bowl?
They play at UCLA, right? Heck no, they don't play at UCLA. I don't know where they play.
Didn't you play in it?
They play at the Collie, don't they?
Oh, you never played in the Pac-12 championship?
Remember my first year, we was on sanctions my whole career.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Man, I'm sorry for bringing up that sore subject.
Yeah, man. Oh, the sanctions?
Oh, they're playing at San Fran.
Home game for Stanford.
Playing at San Fran, the new
SC.
stadium.
Ooh.
SC still. All right.
SC.
All right. All right. I got one chance to get back with you guys.
Me and Keith's gonna be tied.
Yeah.
All right. The second best conference championship of the
Here we
weekend. Miami
Man.
and Clemson.
Clemson.
Playing in Charlotte.
I need
You go
Clemson to
Miami,
win
right?
this.
Huh?
You go Miami.
I want to just to get back in it, but I can't pick against Clemson right now.
Clemson.
They made a
They
statement.
booming.
A big time statement.
Business is
And there's
booming.
not a team other than Alabama that has stepped up to the challenge of a big game for the last 5 years. And so I'm going to go with Clemson too. And it all comes down to the SEC championship in Atlanta. A rematch between the Auburn Tigers, who look stout against Bama, and then Georgia Bulldogs. Kirby Smart, second year as head coach, already got him the SEC championship. Who do you think? Auburn versus Georgia. Can Auburn do it again and beat them twice in a row? There's not a hotter team in the country right now than Auburn.
I'm just gonna, you know what?
It's in Atlanta too, huh?
It's in Atlanta.
Also, my guys got a home game.
And they've known for a couple weeks now that they were going. So you know those guys were buying up tickets left and right. It's gonna be 3/4 Georgia.
Georgia.
You go on the Dogs.
I hope they win too, just so Georgia's
so
the only SEC team in the playoffs.
And just so a 2-loss SEC team can't get in.
Exactly.
Auburn.
You going Auburn?
Yeah, let's shake it up a little bit.
They running back's not playing though, but maybe correct.
Carryon Johnson. They don't know yet.
Oh wait.
If he don't play,
stay with what you.
if he don't play, that's big time. But
Hey,
Jared Stidham, Auburn's quarterback, man, he's become a player. He started off the year slow. He hadn't played in 2 years. He's been a huge difference maker. He played well last week against Bama.
Their first
It's been a
game,
tough one, man.
Like that.
their first game against Georgia, they played well. They did, but Georgia had a lot of mistakes.
Georgia had one of the worst games of the year.
They had they played terrible, and they had buku penalties.
Yeah.
Georgia it is.
Y'all are both going Georgia?
I'm convinced.
Wait, did you go Auburn or Georgia?
I went
Both
Georgia.
y'all went Georgia.
Wait, so is the running back playing or not?
We don't know yet.
I don't know.
We still got a few more days. It's questionable.
And if he does play, they're gonna be
That's the risky
gunning
part
for
of the
him.
pick, man. That's the risky part of these picks.
They're
You don't know
gonna
what
be
the
gunning
history
for him to
says.
try to get him out the game quick again.
Auburn it is.
You going Auburn?
Auburn, man.
Say less. Georgia.
Easy.
Georgia.
Man.
Easy.
I'm going up.
Oh, man. This is tough. This is tough. I'm going Georgia, though. I'm going Georgia. I agree. I think it is so hard to beat a team twice, a team as good as Georgia is, and they did have the worst game of the year. I think Georgia's stable of running backs eventually wear them down. It's going to come down to Jake Fromm. Jared Stidham's a good quarterback. Kerryon Johnson's a good running back. They got Nick Chubb and Sony Michel, great running backs at Georgia. Jake Fromm is the one question mark at quarterback at Georgia. If he doesn't play well, if he plays like he did against whoever, Florida or whoever, where he really didn't do anything, was non-existent, I think Auburn wins. But I think Jake Fromm's going to step up. He looked good against Georgia Tech last week. I'm going to go with the Dogs, man. It's going to be a tough one, though. It's crazy thing is, man, if Keith, if you're right and Auburn wins, I mean, this whole college football playoff just gets thrown into a washing machine. It's crazy.
Let's
sure.
do it.
It's crazy.
Let's throw it into a wash.
Sure it
But it'll be fun, man. We'll see. We got a lot at stake in terms of our pick'ems. I think I can make a move this week and get back into the running.
I disagree.
And I feel bad for your Southern Cowboys, man. I think Bryce Love's gonna run on them.
Sounds well.
I'm just saying.
Hey, you can run all you want and still take an L.
All right, I want to see what kind of mood y'all are in if we come here next week and USC is lost and Jimbo's on a plane to Texas A&M. We got a lot to talk about that week, but we'll see.
Yeah, all right.
It's gonna be
All right.
interesting.
That's it for this week's CampusLore Live. We'll talk to you later.